I talk to so many entrepreneurs, man, online, offline, like it's just my whole world. And like, it's always the same story, man. You know, something happens, you work your butt off, something maybe good happens, gives you a little runway, you go for that next dream, you take a chance, you move, you start the thing, whatever it is. And it's always that like catalyst, you know what I'm saying? Something happens bad. And that's like that fork in the road, man. And I see people take the other fork, which is like, well, the guy, he bailed on us, honey. I guess I'll just go get the job at the thing at the 9 to 5 or whatever. But
Right.
then like there's another fork in the road that's like harder, darker, way blurrier, right? And that's the all right, well, that guy bailed. So what can I do? I'm going to do all right, mortgages. Here we go. I said I was going to start a finance thing, so I'm going to start a finance thing, and then you take that path. And it's always that fork that you just said that I always find the people that end up on my podcast and the people that are doing something else with their life because because you actually go and do something successful. And like this is like entrepreneurship, whether you know, it's not for the faint of heart. Like
No.
it's rolling the dice, man. It's like at the end of it's skidding in sideways, turning the wheel as fast as possible and landing it in the parking lot. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like that's what you have to do. In that moment, when those moments happen, which you and I are not done facing moments like that as long as we're on this earth and have businesses, right? Those moments come and you have to always take that fork that goes like, what's next? What am I going to do? Or I'm not going to retreat like back. And that's what you did there. So you sold your first
Well,
mortgages, man.
and those are the things, quite frankly, that and for me now, it's more now about knowledge. I mean, now
Yeah.
that I know how to run a business. I would never want to be I'd never want to go back to be an employee ever.
Ever, ever,
Done it.
never.
Never, I never want to go there because I'm sitting there trying to ask myself, what do I do next? That's not an option.
That is not an option. Yeah. My dad told me, it's so funny, man. You know, my dad was an entrepreneur and he was an insurance agent. Like, so but he was an independent agent in the 80s and 90s when it was
Okay.
really good to be an independent agent. And State Farm and Farm Bureau hadn't swallowed up all the agents and all this stuff. And he's still an independent agent. Dude goes to work every day. He's 80 years old. It's awesome. And but it's so funny, man. He always encouraged me to be a teacher or work for something or always have a job. And you know, I think he had those battle scars of being an entrepreneur. Like in the 80s when the savings and loans crisis happened and insurance fell apart and all
Wow.
these bad times. And
Yeah.
but he it was always like balanced with him telling me in the car, the worst day working for yourself is better than the best day working for somebody else. And like it was such a weird dynamic, man, you know? And
Yeah.
when I went and worked for people, like I always had that in the back of my mind, man. I was like, nah, man, I'd rather do something else, man. I gotta. And now that I've done it, I've there's no going back for me.
To me, it's all about what I have in my knowledge because you
Yeah,
could take everything from me today. I could sit down in an hour, find something that I could do, and I could be up and running
yeah, man.
in a
Yeah,
couple of
man.
months.
I've got a really good buddy, and he calls that the income problem. He's like, that's the real goal of all entrepreneurs is solving how you make income, not what you do to make income, but how the knowledge, the wisdom. And once you solve the income problem, you've got it figured out. Now you know you don't have to go work for somebody else. Now you might have a bad week or a bad year, but you're going to be able to figure out the income problem because you've went through it. And the most people just don't know it because they didn't go through it.